time working for a sports agency before I got involved in TV. And it was a reality check for me. And once this FBI investigation came out, this is going to be a slow unraveling. This is just the beginning. Because one of the things that I saw when we were dealing with, players and AAU coaches and assistant coaches is that there were a lot of dealings that were being made that people didn't know about. There was a lot of money being exchanged. I know for a fact, there was a reported story by Yahoo Sports back in 2009. I know that we gave an AAU coach for a guy named Kevin Love who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We gave him over $250,000. Now, at the time, we were also giving other players money because you're allowed to give players money through their AAU programs, which are essentially 501c3s. So while we were giving other, AAU coaches money through their 501c3s, in retro for players.
What was the understanding when that money went out? The check goes with what? A handshake and good wishes, or what?
Yeah, the check goes to the AAU coach, and understanding that once a kid goes through his 1 year of college, or if he decides to go overseas, that he was going to be delivered to the agency. In the midst of that going on, Bob, we also had assistant coaches that knew the kid was going to their school. Like, hey, we were a part of this. We deserve a cut. You start to see a lot of hands in the cookie jar from people that were trying to find a way to tap into this deal. So for me, this is nothing new. This is not shocking at all. It's part of a bigger systemic institutional issue, and that's what I'm getting to here. Is that this game has been going on for a while, so we use the term amateurism, and it hasn't been amateurism for a long time. You see the underbelly of how it works, and there are always going to be loopholes to be done here. If that's agents paying AU teams, if that's shoe companies trying to find a way to finagle it, I think it's time that we have to embrace a new kind of system. And I think Adam Silver can play a role in this from the NBA by saying, okay, if you're 16 years old and you graduate from high school, if we can raise the G League minimum pay, which is their max right now is $25,000.
And explain what the G League is for those who may not be familiar with it.
It's the developmental league for the NBA.
So if I not do one and done, I come out of 18, I go there.
Yeah, and keep your age minimum, which is 19 years old, in order to get drafted. Raise it to $100,000 and say, hey, look, if you want to go directly to the league from high school, then you have to go. You have to be 19 to get into the league. If not, you have to go to college for 3 years. And there has to be some kind of incentive program. If you go to a Duke, you're going to make more money than if you go to a Coppin State. But we have to find a way to maybe allocate some of these monies that these kids are making, maybe put them in, put in escrow and allow them to tap into that once they graduate, maintaining a certain GPA.
Seth, I want to go to you in just a second. I know you're hot on this topic, and I want to preface it with some numbers because implicit in what we're talking about is the influence of the shoe companies. Put up the numbers. These are the 6 biggest apparel deals in American collegiate sports. Under Armour, which by the way right now is the financial basket case, $280 million over 15 years. Ohio State, $252 with Nike. Texas with Nike, $250 million deals. Adidas, or as the rest of the world calls them, Adidas, the public company out of Germany, $191 million. And Louisville, on the back of the basketball program, and football, their basketball is the most productive in basketball, but $45 million a year in revenues. When you have numbers like that, do the math, it's well over $1 billion. And I ask you the question, how much power do shoe companies have? What's the answer?
Well, the shoe companies do have power because, look, it's a business to the shoe companies. They want to have access to the best players. They want to get the best players in their shoes. There's competition in grassroots basketball from all 3 shoe companies to field teams. Why do you think shoe companies invest in grassroots basketball? Not out of the goodness of their heart.
It's a futures market in the kids, right?
It's a futures market. So they invest millions of dollars in grassroots basketball to find the next Jordan, to find the next Curry, to develop that relationship and that brand identity. So when a guy does make it, all right, they can sign it out with the Jays. Here's how the NBA can help. NBA should adopt maybe the European model. The European model is player could sign at 15, 16 years old. Kristaps Porzingis, he signed as a youth. You have junior programs for these NBA teams. You have a junior program from, say, 14 to 17, and there's an academic component, but you're paying the players. Then, when they hit 17, they can go to the G League. They work their way up. It's basically a minor league, but it allows these young, talented players who do not want to participate in college to begin their professional career, and then the guys that go to college,
how realistic
they've got to buy in.
We've got $20 billion in television contracts invested in, you know what? March Madness.
Yeah.